as it speeds up, you reach this threshold where it, in fact, overrides forces. When the pressure, it's already under high pressure. If the pressure continues to build, it will go against any force. In other words, it's going to find a way out. And everything at that point will begin to heat up, which is why Texas is a large concern for certain agencies also, because of the oil that's underneath Texas. If lava happened to ignite that oil, well, you can only imagine what would happen there.
You would heat up the cracks in the subsurface.
Right.
Expand the cracks, yeah. Right.
That's right. And as far as defense goes, this is why we have our defense nets fully active in the United States as of 2012. Because if a missile were to hit strategically in one of these places that are, because of its the crust thickness, if it were to hit one of those places, say Yellowstone or something like that, something that would cause or inflict enough of an explosion to set off Yellowstone, that's the end of the United States. Or the very large lava chamber that's below the East Coast, that would be the end of, certainly half of the United States. Or the supervolcanoes that are in the Atlantic and one in the Pacific. In the ocean that they seldom talk about, but they're there. If one of those happens to go off, which the Pacific is now active, it's now active. So, these things, this volcanism deal will certainly increase, and that's why people have been seeing it on cycles, but they're on cycles of the sun because of our dynamo. Now, that's the scientific.
The sun is scientifically in control of everything that happens on Earth.
Right, scientifically. Yeah.
It's in control of everything.
That's right.
Without the sun is the master player in the physics of what we're dealing with here. And it is definitely, that's the first place to look. Michael, you were talking about one other thing here is the Earth is expanding and creating more compression on the magnet on the Earth because of the pressure on the magnetosphere. And we're seeing the pressure from space pushing this way, with Earth is pushing out.
Right.
Now, is there a tipping point or a balancing point or a speed of rotation of the gyro that they say, okay, this is going to reach harmony here, and like a gyroscope? I mean, there's probably no way to scientifically figure that point, but
well, it's like this. I guess you could, if you took a door and you put your hand on one side of the doorknob and the other hand on the other, you apply the same force to two, the door doesn't move. Take your hand off one side, the door will abruptly, go in one direction or the other. Well, the Earth has been shielded like that with a very balanced, the miracle pressure they call it. In other words, the pressures have to be so fine-tuned, just like the moon is they refer to as the miracle position moon because it's in geosync orbit. And we can't do that now. We have to make minute adjustments to our satellites to get them to point to the, same side of the Earth. To get them in geosync orbit is really an impossible task without micro adjustments every few, days or so forth. But so this pressure that is equal is actually building up on both sides. Now, with more pressure comes more energy. It's actually building energy where that pressure line is. If one side happens to dissipate or the other, then you're looking at an energy release that no one expected. Something, a new phenomenon.
Right, if the magnetopause was to give first, you get an outward expansion. It could possibly affect the oxygen levels, which the atmosphere without oxygen. I've read theories, Michael, that without oxygen, the frequency of our inner atmosphere would change so dramatically. In other words, the oxygen is a dampener. In acoustics and audio engineering, you have dampening factors.
Right.
Like with water and waves and things like that. But with the oxygen depleted in the atmosphere, you lose a dampening factor, and the frequency could increase enough to where, the math goes all the way out to where the human body would actually explode with the loss of oxygen inside the cells. Almost like Einstein's matter becoming energy.
Right. It wouldn't be good, that's for sure.
It wouldn't be. It would even affect concrete structures in the building because of the silicates and the oxygen involved in the concrete.
Yeah. Well, they have actually tested that theory. They have applied sound waves to concrete slabs and so forth, and crushed certain molecules in the concrete and changed its entire composition, collapsing it. They also have weapons. China certainly has those weapons, sound weapons, that they can shoot at an individual and give them a heart attack, and no one will even know a weapon was fired. They can rupture organs. Each organ, they can target every single organ, different ones, because they're all instinctively at these different frequencies of alteration. So if they happen to hone in on one of those frequencies, they have weapons like that, which is why I tell people bullets won't quite work, because they have sound weapons. And of course we do too.
Well, Michael, God bless you, and I'm looking forward to you calling in anytime. You've got my email. You let me know, and I'll get with you this evening or tonight. We'll schedule another show.
Okay, thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Michael.